Durango, this crazy, crazy athletic community. Because I had friends from high school that went to college there, a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Did you go to school there?
I up to high school, and then
Okay.
yeah, after that. So my dad was building houses. Me and my buddies started doing that. A bunch of my buddies, and like you said, everyone was like, it's just insane the level of athletics. Growing
Yeah.
up, like everybody was just, I mean, so many Olympic cross country skiers and cyclists, and just a bunch of my friends. So I think it was just like the par was set so high, and in running, as I've come to California and I got into the marathon, people are like, "Oh, you're a great runner," and I feel like, yeah, I guess where I'm from, everybody just kind of had to be that way,
Everybody's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, but I was there till I was 21, so I was there for 3 years after high school. But by early teens, we were already pushing the extremes of everything we could. From my friends were really into kayaking. The one thing I didn't really do much of was the kayaking. I was more of the rock climbing. So
I took up kayaking as we used to go on the river and go whitewater rafting. And my buddy's like, I'll teach you. And we tried in the river and I had some difficulty. He goes, let's go to the pool and we're going to practice your Eskimo roll or
yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah.
So we were practicing it a bunch at a country club in their pool. And I said, he's like, listen, he's like, if you can't get up, rather than pull the skirt and come out and have to set up again, he's like, I'll lift you up,
Yeah.
so that you can practice again. So he's like, just tap the bottom of the boat with your hand. And so I would tap it. He'd set me back up. And then this one time I was just having trouble. I couldn't make the roll. So I tapped and he didn't pick me up. And I tapped and he didn't pick me up. And I started to panic. And rather than pull my skirt and slide out, I grabbed onto him because he's standing there. And I use him to kind of pull me up and I get my face out to get a breath. And I look at him and he's just laughing hysterically at me as I then fall back under and I pull the skirt and I come out and I'm like, what the dude? What? And he's like, that was hilarious. I go, no, it wasn't. You almost drowned me. And so then I said to him, I go, so we get in the river and we're kayaking. I go, what happens like if I get stuck somewhere? He's like, well, you pull the skirt. I go, what if I can't? He goes, someone will come get you. One of us will come get you. I go, well, what if like you're not around? He's like, you can pull the skirt and get out. I go, okay, hypothetically. Do you ever hit your head underwater on rocks? He goes, oh yeah, all the time. And I go, is that
Oh,
why you, he goes, that's why you wear a helmet. I go, so let's say I smash into a rock and I'm knocked out.
oh,
He goes, you're dead. And I go, yeah.
wow.
And that was the end of kayaking for me.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah. I have similar stories with my buddies. I had a buddy that I lived with in California, Dave Persolia, and this is a guy that dropped one of those waterfalls in Yosemite. It's in a movie called Air Raid.
Yeah.
It's super obscure, but he drops a 600-foot section of waterfall that's in water, out of water. Like he's going back, he's skimming off slick rock, and then he gets back in the water, and then he's doing these 30-foot airs, just skipping off the rock for like 600 feet. Insane, dude. But he lost like 5 of his best buddies in different scenarios, and
That's the one thing about all these sports.
yeah,
Kelly Starrett. Are you familiar with Kelly?
I don't think so. Mm-mm.
Kelly's big in the CrossFit world. He was I watched a red-tailed hawk just fly by.
Oh, nice.
The Kelly Kelly was a big kayaker, huge kayaker, and uh, all the guys I've met in all these extreme sports and I've had on the show here, they all have the stories about the dead friends.
Yeah.
And occasionally you'll hear in football or basketball somebody dying. Somebody gets hit in the face with a baseball. That's like a 1 in a million.
Yeah.
I have a buddy who's a free skier, was professional, Drew Steckline. And I said, funny enough, his cousin's the one that in the kayak that almost killed me.
Yep.
But two totally different stories because Drew's from Idaho and Montana and Teddy's from Pittsburgh, and they're cousins. It's like so random that I know these people. Drew said to me one time, I go, why'd you quit? Because he's a photographer now. And he goes, I think he said 6. And I go, 6 what? He goes, 6 dead friends.
Damn, dude.
And I was like, wow, like
that's real. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if you do it enough,
Yeah.
you're gonna come
happen.
close or like,
Yeah. My one of my best friends when he just turned 18, went off a 100-foot cliff, just hiking, and they were actually trundling, pushing boulders off, and he slipped. Jed Paddling, that was his name. And it just like, yeah, it sent shockwaves through me and my buddies because we lived in the mountains. I mean, it's just like we were always on the cliffs. We were always climbing and just doing extreme everything. So for him to just be out there hiking, he's with two of our other friends, and one climbed down the cliff and gave him CPR for 45 minutes, but he died on impact. And it was just intense, I mean, it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, you're mortal, and at that age, you don't
Yep.
feel mortal, you feel like you can do anything. And then that happens. And, some people, I guess, would quit the sport, and I think it depends on what your relationship with it is. But I think for us, it was like, all right, let's live a life that would make him proud, or
Yeah.
let's keep
Yeah.
living the life. I mean, you gotta appreciate the dangers that come with all these things we do, but let's keep going. And we love our lives, and he lived a life that was unbelievable, even up till 18 years old. Like most people will never live a
Yeah,
life like he
I
did.
always
So
say that because I'm the comedian. A lot of times people ask me to like speak at funerals or whatever it is, and usually like one of my friends like this when they pass, I always say, "Don't be sad for them. They lived 4 times the life that you lived.
exactly.
Like be sad for us because
Yes.
we've lost them,
Yeah.
but they lived their life,
Yeah.
and so n- there was nothing like they could do more of what they did, but they've already were in the bonus.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
they
Yeah.
were in the bonus at age 10.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. My dad had a
so
cool thing that he said in the newspaper, when Jed passed, and he said, they lived in the mountains, and they didn't just walk along the cliffs; they danced on them.
uh,
And I think that was like, that's like,
profound.
it's not just being out there and like doing these extreme sports. It's like, it's thinking of it as from this artistic perspective, like if that's your craft, like you're out there because you're compelled to be out there, not just because, you're checking some box. So, yeah.